evolving as a trader or even as a trainer, I would say. Like earlier, I used to do 1 day, 2 day programs, and now I'm doing only mentoring programs most of the time, and those are like long term, 3 months kind of program. And post that, it is a long lifetime association. So what happens is basically when you are associated with people, when you are interacting, the questions that students ask, that actually triggers lots of things, and you learn from there, and you try to find answers for those questions, and that's how your learning keeps on improving, and you become better and better technical analyst. So there is something that I have learned, while I can tell you multiple things. One, I have learned Renko because of that, and I apply it like very, very often in my charts whenever I want to see clarity or understand what is happening. Then second thing is I have also looked at moving averages in a different way altogether while doing mentoring programs, because one of my mentees had invited me for a seminar in Bangalore, and he said most of the participants are fundamental guys. So can you do something which will give them a long term entry and exit kind of thing using technical? So it has to be very simple, and that's what I learned. And while trying to do a presentation for that, I actually found something that actually works beautifully using moving averages and it worked beautifully. And right now it is very big part of my learning, and also my programs learning, right?
Right. So,
So
Fidai sir,
this is what
you
I
are
have been doing and evolving, you can say, made lots of good you can say network with students, with the community, the whole you can say technical analysts and others, while I have come on social media. Twitter has become, you can say, a very fantastic kind of platform, social media platform, where because of it I have met lots of very you can say intelligent people, some who are doing very, very good kind of work, and they're very good technical analysts. I met very good and made very good friends also. And some I have never met, like Ashutosh, I have never met you, right? And why I actually liked you know uh, doing this spaces with you is I have told you already, but I think the audience should also know. When I said I day before yesterday that I want to do an Twitter spaces, and I found you approached me directly and you said, can we do it for you, can we host you? Now this is what I like about the new generation, the people of your age who are very young and who are who are courageous, who take a step ahead and ask. And what could happen, the worst thing is I would have said no, but you approach, and that's how I like that. And then I gave you my number and we interacted, right? And I think we interacted for 40-50 minutes. So
right,
this is
right.
what even I have learned to learn from other people, but also give opportunities to other people. So I think, Ashutosh, that's what my journey has been. It is very, very interesting. And I can tell you, I have been belly up many maybe twice in my lifetime. I have lost good kind of money and recovered everything back. So basically, um, you should not be afraid. Rather, you should be, when you have the knowledge. See, I said knowledge is something like light. When there is, when you are afraid mostly of what you don't know. But when you know, then you are not afraid, right? I'll give you a basic example. If you go into a room, your own home, and there is no light, let's say light has gone off, you are still comfortable in that room. But let's say you went to your friend's home and there is a electricity, this thing disruption, you would find yourself very uncomfortable in that place. Though you must have gone to that friend's place multiple times, but still you don't know that place so well, right? And that's when that fear, you feel a little fear. If I walk, abhi aaj ke time mein we have mobile, but earlier we did not have mobile and all. So you would feel uncomfortable walking in that darkness. So I would say, like, the knowledge you have actually acts like a light. And that's what I could say. Means if you want to approach anything, any new subject, you should learn and then, get into the whole thing rather than just go blindly into something. And markets are so democratic, it allows anybody to enter. But one thing I'm telling you surely, everybody's whoever is in market, their job is, and they usually try to do what is they want to collect the money that is in your pocket, that should shift to their pocket, right? So that is the main purpose, and you have to see to it that you protect as much as possible, that nobody takes away your money, right? So that is the whole game in the market. If you can
Right, right.
master that game, at least if you don't give, then once you stop giving, that means you will start taking from the market, and that's how the
Yeah.
whole
So,
thing plays out.
Fidai sir, let's coming
Okay,
back to
Ashutosh?
you have right, right. Yeah. So you have been in the
I'm sorry,
market
I
for
can't
like
hear if you're saying something.
yeah, yeah. So am I audible?
I can't hear you at all.
Okay. Uh, can anyone confirm? Am
Are
I
you
audible?
speaking,
Can you?
Ashutosh?
Yes, yes. Am I? I
But I
am
can't
speaking
hear you. I
actually.
don't know why.
Can anyone else hear me? Please raise your hands or something. Wave or.
No, no, Ashutosh, I'm so sorry. I can't hear absolutely. Can anyone else?
O- Okay. So can you exit and rejoin
Your
again, or
voice is
maybe
coming.
tell
I
some.
can hear you, but it's so low. I'll. Um,
Um, let me
can
add
I leave
someone
and
as
come
a
back?
speak.
Is it possible?
Yeah, yeah, it's possible. You can just
Okay,
exit
then
and
I'll
come
come
back
back. So
again.
let me see if that works.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Happens mostly. So
Yeah, there's some
no, no.
issues with
हाँ,
spaces
मतलब
now.
ये होता है, but that's how I learned. Like when I use any this thing platforms, and when you leave
Yeah,
and come back, it's better. So there is a learning here for all of us. The people who are there, not about spaces, but in real life also, in markets also. Let's say you're making money continuously, and you are running a purple patch. So take a small break. Enjoy that money. Maybe take some break and have a life with your family or go on a vacation and come back. But if you are losing 100%, you should say take a break.
right. Re-energize, regroup and come back again
Right,
stronger.
right. So this is what happens. Like you learn continuously like this also, and I get so many opportunities to speak whenever such kind of technological mishaps happen. So you learn from there also. You can speak from there also. Yes, tell me.
Right. So yeah, so Fidai sir, you have been in the markets for like 30 years
Hmm.
now. So can you tell us some stories about how the markets used to be in the earlier times? Like most of us haven't seen those faces, and you might have traded 1990 Harshad Mehta or 2020, IT bull run and all. So how was the experience that time? How the market went up? Like what happened during those phases?
Okay, so I'll tell you one, this thing, first thing, brokerages are very high, but as I told you about, if you put your money, if you want to buy something, you would get at the highest price, and if you want to sell, you would get at the lowest price. But I'll tell you, the money making was so crazy at that time that you could buy a stock today and it would double tomorrow, which is not possible today. Okay, so that is one example. I can tell you how, right? At that point, if you know, you are talking about pre-Harshad Mehta period and Harshad Mehta period. So basically, what happened is if you buy and let's say tomorrow in newspaper or somewhere there is a rumor that Harshad is buying that stock. Okay, that would double. It would double instantly next day itself. And if there is a little confirmation or the rumor becomes stronger, the stock could double next day. So you had multi-baggers just to buy, and means अभी तक तो आपको delivery मिला नहीं है. You haven't got the delivery. You are holding the stock. You have just bought. Seriously, it's a broker who has given you confirmation that they have bought a stock for you, and there were no receipts or anything. Contracts note would come monthly and all that. So all systems were totally manual. Okay, and you had confirmations like, let's say you call your broker or sub broker, he would just take your order and he will say, okay, when the boy comes, we will send the order to the market. And that's how it is. There was a curve trading also, like post market, there would be a like the brokers will stand outside and they will take your orders in curve trading also. So you could buy in curve trading also. So there were so many silly things that were happening at that point, and there are so many things that I may have missed because I was in a bank, right? I was working and I had just started. I was very new, and we our generation people did not have as much information as you guys have at means even the newborn baby who gets a birth in this times. These are smart people because these guys are born with the mobile and technology in their hands. In our time, there was nothing. So I will tell you, my advantage was newspapers and magazines. If you read, you were smarter. As simple as that. So that is one more funny thing about that market, right?
Yeah.
So it is always like if you had some like see आज की तारीख में आपको inside information through bulk deals and all that. So earlier there were no such things. It was pure word of mouth, grapevine, your brokers call, or you read something, magazine, newspapers. And all. So that was the market, which is totally different. If I have to go back to that market, I wouldn't go. Like with today's kind of data and all that, I would prefer to stay in today's market than that older market, right?
Right, right. So, Fidai sir, what happened after? What was the aftermath of all these bull markets? So, how was the crash of the IT or
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
2008?
I'll tell you, I got married on 1st May 92. And Harshad Mehta crash had happened just before that, right? He was arrested and all that. So everybody would come on the stage to greet me and congratulate me. They were asking, "आगे क्या लगता है?" So crazy times, and nobody knew, and there was no. I had zero knowledge of technicals. Rather, you can say I was absolutely green on. You can say so. I had zero knowledge of even fundamentals in that sense. So basically, and it was like Andhe mein Kana Raja. I had so little knowledge, and because I was handling some money, people used to come and ask me. Right, I had no network except my broker, sub broker, or friends who are working around me. But आज के ज़माने में it is all different. It's all totally like something else only. Okay, so that is one thing. Then aftermath was everything was down. Like stocks were trading like crazy down, which I actually realized when I you had no inkling क्या हो रहा है market में. कुछ time तो market भी बंद था. There was some strike and all that, right? So you would say कि ठीक है बहुत नुकसान हो गया and all that, but actually we started from zero, so we made whatever we made was big enough, right? I'll tell you, 10 रुपए का Tata Timken which I got in IPO went up to almost like 700, 800 rupees. And we were thinking
Oh,
1000 rupees.
10 rupees to like 700-800 rupees.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's
It was the
crazy.
one of the highest subscribed IPO of up to current times. So, like right now, we are
So, what happened after crash?
after crash. I think it went up to 80 rupees.
Okay,
It fell
still
down, right? It fell down to 80.
cool, cool. So, Fidai sir, I've heard that you coined this phrase that there is no capital without capital markets.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is no, yeah, something like that.
no capital, no capital markets. So
No capital, no capital markets exactly.
yeah, so
So
yeah.
so we so you have been in the markets for like 30 years. You, as you said, you have been burst like two times now.
Mhm.
So how do you risk manage now? Yeah, what are your learnings from those lessons, and how do you completely structure your risk and go about it?
Yeah, I'll tell you that. See, basically, what happens is When I started, it was pure reading and word of mouth and all that. But when I started technicals, then I became so much big fan of technicals that I stopped believing in fundamentals only. Okay, that was in 2004. I started doing technicals. So up to a good time, I would not believe in fundamentals only. I would just say कि chart है सब कुछ है, price says everything, so you should follow the price blindly, right? And we would make money, but it was like as a, you can say, swing trader or short term investor or intraday trader, but never like, a big multi bagger kind of all those kind of things were happening. And there was no intention also, क्योंकि पैसा बन रहा है, you are making money, so why are you bothered about it? And but the fall actually teaches you lots of things. So when those falls happened, and then I realized ki, you need to buy into quality stocks. And that's how like a little learning about fundamentals helps. And that was one of my biggest learnings, you can say. So I would say no capital markets is basically uh, one more derived from Twitter only, because I have this knack of playing with words. But what was I telling you is कि ये जो रिस्क मैनेजमेंट होता है, तो नाउ यू आर मोर डिलीजेंट. नाउ यू डोंट इन्वेस्ट टू मच इनटू अ पर्टिकुलर स्टॉक unless you are fundamentally convinced about the quality, and then you see the company performing well. So if company keeps on performing well, then you wouldn't be afraid. Like I remember I have given a this thing, recommend not recommendation, I don't give recommendations mostly, but I had suggested one Manali Petro, right? I like the fundamentals of this company so much because there was so many things happening. And I think I recommend, I think it was suggested around 70s, 72, 73, right? And currently it is trading at 118, something went up to almost 130. I believe the fundamentals actually help you buy into a stock and hold into a stock even if markets fall. So my suggestion would be learn technicals, fundamentals both. If you can do that, you are actually building conviction, and you know when to buy due to technicals. So both things play out, and if the fall happens, you know when to buy again, right? So, and if you know it is a very undervalued stock, you would keep on buying that stock. If it's undervalued and if you like it and the markets are still yet to recognize the potential of the stock, then you do those kind of things. So I would say, um, if you have money, you will make big money. If you have less money, 100% you will make money, but you will make lesser money only. So people who tend to go for, means having less money and try to do big things, they tend to go belly up. So you need to avoid that, belly approach. You should avoid as much as possible. So you should make sure that you survive. The more you survive, the more potential you have to come back and make bigger money. And because your money will grow automatically if you understand and go with knowledge. Like I said, knowledge is the light. So use the light and focus on the right, I would say approach. Stick to your approach and maintain discipline. Start with something like nominal, and if you like it, keep on adding. If the stock also performs, then you can add more. And if the markets give you opportunity, if it goes down, the stock goes down, you can buy more of it. And 100% market will at one point recognize what you have seen, and the price will play out. Problem is nowadays people want, because of the options, they see that you can multiply money like crazy. People get carried away, and that's where they lose big money because they don't
Right.
understand the things. So that's why I said, if you want to do whatever you want to do, you have to learn. You have to not only learn, but at least educate yourself, give yourself time. So the system should be learn, practice, refine, again relearn or unlearn and relearn, and then again test it out, again practice, and then start doing bigger things rather than doing same thing, making same mistakes again and again, and letting market teach you. The way I have learned, I wouldn't advise anybody to go through that process. Like, you should not learn by just falling into the ocean. The markets are like ocean, so don't jump into the ocean directly. Start slowly.
Right. So, the holy grail would be like, don't have two bigger drawdowns and don't go bankrupt. Just come, means, sustain yourself, survive yourself. And
I'll
if
tell
you
you
keep showing up every
beautiful.
day, you're gonna be
Yeah,
fine.
this you almost have heard about one quote which says, "When you see blood on the street, buy." Right? All of us have
Yeah,
heard,
but
right?
what happens when it is your blood?
But if it's your blood, make sure that you don't sell. That's what I sell. Means if
Right.
it's your blood, don't sell. If you can buy, fine. If you cannot buy, at least hold what you have. And that's what happened. If you see in 2020 fall, people who held on are better off than people who see. I'll tell you the reason why people sell is because of fear and leverage. One is leverage, because leverage is something very bad for you. If you don't have money to cover your positions, then you will have to sell your best of the stocks, even your holdings also, right? Let's say you bought one stock or few stocks on leverage. People do dabba trading. That's pure leverage. So you should avoid all that and stick to, maybe stick to what you understand and quality, right? So fear and leverage are a very deadly combination. They can kill you in the market. So make sure that you don't have fear. To have zero fear, learn um, fundamentals, understand the quality of the company, know the company is performing well, and then take a call, right? And then stick to your stocks. So if markets fall, I'll tell you what happens. Let's say market has fallen in March 2020 because of the fear, right? Because of the uncertainty in the market. Like everybody was uncertain, like what will happen to the market. Will the world will come to an end because of the corona? But seriously, world doesn't come to an end. We saw that companies kept on performing. All companies did realign. So little bit, uneasiness. So yes, there would be some correction in the profitability of the companies and all that. But it doesn't mean that those companies are going to stop working, and they will find a way around to come back. They have large, see, understand, we as retailers have very little at stake, but those guys have huge money and everything, resources at stake. There are so many families, the whole nation, so everybody will rally back. Everybody will make sure that something has to be done about it, and they will find a way for it. When we fear, actually, I'll tell you what everybody should do is, when you are seeing a fall in a stock, okay, if it's an stock which is falling in isolation, let me give an example. Let's say you have bought IT stock. Let's say you have bought KPIT Technologies. Okay, and there are so many stocks in IT sector, but only KPIT keeps on falling. Though every other stock is not falling, they are holding up. This one stock is falling, so that is a very big red flag. Understand, if something is falling, why is it falling? And why others are not falling. So if others are not falling, this is pure simple technical or common sense. If one stock is falling, others are not falling, something is wrong with this company. And I'll tell you one simple thing. If you understand volumes, um, when does, when can a stock fall? Not because of retailers selling. It will fall because smart money or the large hands are selling it. Somebody who knows something is selling it, and he's trying to take an exit. So avoid those kind of stocks which are falling in isolation. Get out of it as soon as possible. Keep a stop loss, maybe deeper stop loss, but get out, even if it was a fundamental buy, right? But assume the whole market has fallen, it has crashed, or the whole sector has fallen. So there is no fear. When everything is falling, everything will rise again. Probably something has gone wrong, maybe some policy decision, maybe some international, some this thing disruption, and that could create the issue for a particular sector, right? So you don't have to sell when everything is falling, but you have to make sure that if the stock is falling in isolation, then you need to worry about that stock, and you need to make sure that you get out as soon as possible. So that's how you protect your capital in a simpler way. So means no capital markets is very important. If you are having capital, you will have the opportunity to come back. But if you lose capital, there is no comeback, right?
Right. So, Firai sir, you are known for your moving averages and the way you play around these.
Mm.
So, can you tell us like what are the moving averages you use, and how do you like what are the cardinal sins of moving averages, and how do you like create about them? What's analyze a stock,
Yeah, so see, moving averages, there are, I have already said I use five moving averages: 4, 9, 18, 50, 200, right? So
right?
basically, what happens? These are like, one is the fastest moving average, that is 4, and 200 is the slowest moving average. And in between, you have various speeds, right, of various top moving averages. So 9 would be second fastest, and 18 would be like, the median one. It will be in
So
middle.
how did you decide on this, like
No,
4 or
I have
8
not
or
decided. I have
18?
told you this was a something which was already there. भगवान वहीं थे, मेरे सामने पड़े थे, और मुझे नहीं पता था वो भगवान है या जो भी है मूविंग एवरेजेस। तो मुझे उसका पता ही नहीं था। जैसे जैसे देखते गया, आई लर्न कि दिस इज हाउ दे वर्क, एंड बेसिकली आई टेल यू, पीपल कॉल इट एज अ लैगिंग इंडिकेटर, बट देन इट इज अ फंटास्टिक इंडिकेटर। Seriously, like you cannot have something that is a faster indicator. So like, can you have, like, भगवान से बढ़कर तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता। तो प्राइस भगवान है, तो भगवान से आगे का इंडिकेटर क्या होगा? कोई दूसरा भगवान हो
Right.
सकता है क्या? नहीं हो सकता ना। मतलब देर इज भगवान, भगवान फाइनल। सो भगवान के आगे और क्या लगाओगे आप, राइट? नथिंग होता है। तो यू हैव टू गो विथ समथिंग। नाउ मूविंग एवरेजेस में एक चीज होता है, अगर आप प्राइस को ध्यान से देखते हो अलोंग विथ इन टैंडम विथ मूविंग एवरेजेस, दे टेल अ लॉट। उसमें देर इज सो मच टू सी एंड देर इज सो मच टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर, दैट आई विल टेल यू। If you look at charts with moving averages, they speak so loudly if you keep on reading continuously. एक ही चार्ट अगर आप बार बार देखोगे तो दैट विल ऑल्सो स्पीक टू यू। So moving averages में there are convergences that happens. There are three ways that moving averages work. One is when they come together, all of them. That's what something that I have pioneered, the approach of convergence, right? Then there is second one is crossovers. So moving average crosses, small moving average crosses above stronger moving average. So you can just say 50 and 200 job golden crossover समझते हो। So I use it on a shorter time frame, but not 50 and 200. I use smaller numbers. Like I can use 918, I can use 49, or I can use 1850, but I don't use 50 200 because that is too late and too old. मतलब it shouldn't be so like older kind of thing, right? Or so lagging one. And there is one more usage of moving averages when price crosses beyond a particular moving average. Now, whatever suits you and whatever you feel is you are comfortable with, you can use that. So basically, these are the three ways people can use moving averages. One is when the price crosses beyond a particular moving average. Now you have to find which moving average you want the price to cross beyond, right? So if you are looking at, let's say, intraday, if trading purposes, so for them I would say, just give you an example, right? Because people should learn from this whole session. So giving you a very small example, for EMA, logically for DMA is nothing but 1 week support, 1 week's average price, right, of the stock or index. So if price crosses beyond that, logically it has turned bullish for that period, right? For that very small period. So you should take a long call in that based on lots of other things. Like you cannot just take long call because it has crossed, but purely if you are a puritanically moving average user, then you can use it in that fashion. But I would say having a knowledge of the other supports and resistances that you see on the chart, the patterns that are forming on the chart, all those things combine to give you a kind of like a crazy kind of setup where you can use it on intraday. Like we use moving averages on purely intraday basis, and it gives you a very beautiful kind of trade setup where the moment, like if you see over a period of time, if you observe, see anything that I will tell you, even if I give you the whole setup also, you will have to practice it. So more you see, the more you learn. So take up something that you find comfortable, use it, look at it, look at the charts, and look at particular time frame only. Don't keep on switching time frame to begin with. Once you get hang of it, it's like you are starting to drive a car. So what happens? You drive at very low speed, then slowly you move in the back lanes of the city, or means you don't go to very high traffic areas. But once you get hang of it, once you understand, then you can go for a longer ride, right? Same way, first observe the things, make notes. This is the most important thing, like to learn, is to create journals, write journals for yourself. If you write journals, you will see that means it is giving you kind of what do you call some knowledge that what has happened, you can observe. More you observe, and along with charts, with journal, when you see that, okay, I would have taken a trade, so start taking paper trades. Okay, once you have done a paper trade kind of setup, and you find that paper trade is working beautifully, then actually take a very small bet. Why I say is, like, you can learn swimming by reading the books, but you need to go into the water to understand how the water is going to pull you. Here in market, what will pull you down is the emotions, the psychology aspect. Okay, so you once you start with small money, and you understand that okay, you are feeling comfortable, or buying something, and you have made money. Maybe your success ratio may be very bad. I'm a professor who says like, the success ratio is unimportant. It is all about risk reward ratio. So if you understand those kind of things, you will be able to make very good money, and over a period of time, right? But you have to keep on observing what you are doing, and you have to do same thing again and again and again. It should become boring, and it should become so mechanical ki whenever you see that setup, then only the hand moves to buy or sell. Okay, otherwise there should not be any trades that you should be doing if you don't see a setup. So
Right.
maybe we must have heard all these things often, but till we don't practice it, till we don't go into that water and test it out, once you are comfortable, once you have grown from there, you can do more. Like, you can take higher risk. First you started with maybe with means 10,000 rupees per trade, then go to maybe 50,000 or 20,000 or 50, whatever is your comfort level, because now you have some written data which tells you, yes, this system works for me. Worst part is, I have seen people try to do too many things at one go. If you master few things, and if you become master of that, you can be like, you keep on making money. Once you have made money, then start exploring other things rather than exploring everything at one go. So if you do that, I'm sure, like, it will be a very, very profitable journey. But nobody wants to give time. I usually say everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So, the process of learning is the process where you are dying every day, so that you can go to the heaven.
Right. So, Fidai sir, there is a ever growing debate on, EMA or DMA. So, what do you use and what do you like? What's the rationale
EMA
behind
or
it?
SMA rather, EMA
Huh?
and SMA. So
Okay.
basically,
Yeah.
exponential moving average or simple moving average, right?
Simple moving average. Right. Yeah.
So basically, if you are using something like, I'll tell you, you are driving a car with, manual system, or you are driving an automatic car, right? I'm just
Right.
giving an example. So seriously, what happens is, you are comfortable with one system. That's okay, right? There is no big thing. But why I use exponential? Why I tell you is because it gives you exponential. The If you understand the real meaning of why exponential, or the what is exponential moving average, the calculation part, right? The exponential moving average actually gives relevance to the near term data, while simple moving average is like, generalized data. It doesn't I would say, they say, it doesn't favor anything, or it doesn't give too much relevance to the current data or the old data. It is more of a democratic, right? It is equal to all data. but the exponential is more like, the near term data is given more relevance. So when near term data has more relevance, logically what you are seeing in exponential moving averages is like, the price, current price, and the whole reaction to that is, means captured more properly compared to simple moving average. So it doesn't make difference in a longer term if you are comfortable with any of this, means simple or exponential. It should.
And how to trade. So how do you screen stocks, select stocks?
Oh, okay. How do I screen stocks? I look at,
Yeah.
I think I had shared a little thing about what I do in my program and all that technical analysis mentoring program. I must have said about speed analysis, right? So what I do is I see as many charts as possible because now I know what to see on the chart, right? And if you are, means with the experience and with time that you have put and the number of charts that you have seen, it becomes very easy to grab. I'll tell you, what do you say? Some example I would like to give you is like, let's say you learned cycling at some point in your life, right? When you are young, then maybe 10-20 years you did not cycle at all, and then again, let's say you feel like I should start cycling for the health reasons, right? So when you buy the first or you take a cycle ride after a gap of so many years, how does it feel to you? You feel a little uncomfortable for 5, 10, 20 minutes. After that, what happens? You become very comfortable, you understand everything, the muscle memory comes back to you. Same way, your brain is also muscle. So if you look at charts, if you know what to look at, like there are patterns on the chart, there are, specific way the moving averages works, the price reacts at a particular moving average in a particular way. So all those things are known, and if you see them often, continuous basis, then it's like knowing your friends. If you know your friends, then you know how we will behave if something happens, or if you speak something to him, right? Same with the charts. If you keep on looking at them continuously, then you, and if you know few things, whatever you want to do. So basically, what I do is I have been doing the speed analysis for almost like more than a decade, right? 1.5 decades. So I have gone through most of the charts again, so many times. So for me, when I see a setup which I like, basically a convergence where, means you can say the price is making kind of cup and handle kind of pattern, or you can say price is making an inverted head and shoulder kind of pattern, or anything that is a flat breakout, or there is convergence along with that. So that actually gives me kind of like, this thing, I get triggered by that. So I note down and I keep it on my tracking list, those kind of stocks. And I also look at volumes at that point, how the volumes are building up and all that. So once you see those continuously, the volume, the price context with the patterns, with the moving averages, and you combine your experience of looking as many charts, then many times what happens is I have a problem of plenty. Like I have so many stocks to actually, means I believe there could be so many stocks which could break out. So you have to then select out of which one you like, and then be patient whenever it gives a breakout, or after giving a breakout, if it doesn't go in the way it should, then you can switch. But till it doesn't, you keep on holding. So what my setup is basically all this, like as I told you, the moving averages, the price, volume, and various other factors that as I've already discussed. So I look at them, I note them, I put them on my market watch, and then I wait for the stock to give a signal, kind of, during intraday when the price volume action keeps on happening on the real life, real time market. So I try to enter when it's giving a breakout, and then I always go with very small nominal exposure. The more the stock keeps on, moving the way I want it to move. Basically, when you buy, you want it to go up, right? So I also believe in that. So when I find a stock is actually playing to the way I want it to, like after I have bought it is going up, then I will keep on adding to it. I'll keep on, increasing my exposure to the stock. Uh, I am okay with buying a stock which has gone 40-50%. I will add to it. So this is how I keep on, building into my exposure rather than, just waiting. Because if you know this stock has a potential which can do, and if you know fundamentals of the stock, if you at least know basics of fundamentals and the price performing well, so you don't want to cut your, positions. But if you are trading into a stock, let's say I don't have money, I am doing a leverage, then I will have to cut that position. So I will trade, swing trade maybe. Maybe I will do the whole run, but then I don't want to buy that stock. I just want to trade that stock. So you should define what you're going first thing in the आपके दिमाग में हो जाना चाहिए कि I want to do this or I don't want to do this, right? Once it has been decided, then it becomes very, very easy.
Right. So, do you use any screeners or any
No, no,
software for
no,
that
no
matter?
electronic screeners or no digital kind of, any support, automation support I don't use in my analysis part, right? Or for fundament, this thing.
So, how many stocks do you know check manually check on a
All,
on daily basis or a?
Shutosh.
You mean, sir, you check like 5,000 stocks on a daily or weekly
Yeah, I
basis?
take daily. I can check all A to Z listed stocks in maybe 2 hours. So,
Means you check like 5,000 stocks and daily like in two
yeah,
hours.
yeah, yeah. So it
So
doesn't
no,
take actually so much time. It's all about practice. That's what I'm saying.
so
Let's
no,
say I'll tell you one simple example. Uh,
uh-huh,
the crowd will enjoy the people who are audience will enjoy this.
right,
Go to your home, all of you, right? When you go to your home, um, your mother catches your this thing emotions so fast, or your family also knows about it. Let's say you haven't spoken a word, you just entered the home, and the mother will say, why are you so happy today? Or sometimes your elder brother or sister or father will say, Are, why are you not feeling well? Something wrong with you? You haven't spoken a single word. How did they catch that? You tell me, Ashutosh, because you are speaking on behalf of all the audience there. So let me
right,
ask you
right,
this
right.
question.
So yeah, they understand you when they see you on a daily basis. They understand that you behave
Absolutely. So
how
they
you
will look at
behave in
charts daily,
certain
what
scenarios.
happens. You
Right,
understand
right,
what I'm
right,
saying? So those charts become your family. You understand them. You know what they are going to say and what they are going to do, right? So if you keep
right.
looking at it, आपको रोज रोज इतना एफर्ट नहीं डालना होता. Let's say I've asked you another question. Ashutosh, I think you also do technicals, right?
Yes, yes. I also check 400, 500 stocks on a
Okay.
daily
So you
basis.
see
And when I
400 charts,
huh?
right?
Right, right.
Now, let's say you started with how many to begin with?
Maybe 10 stocks.
Maybe
I
maybe
was not
two
able
hours.
to check more than that initially.
2 hours, right? You could see today you could see 400, 500, but earlier you would take 10 charts only. You could see 10 charts and 2 hours, right? So how
Right,
did that improve? Because if you keep on seeing the same chart again and again every day, you don't have to put too much effort to see them. कि इसमें और क्या observe करना है. Today's candle only, like one day's candle, you have to add to that data, right? Whatever you have seen yesterday. If there is not much action, you don't see anything in there. So there is no
right.
reaction to for that action, right? So
Yeah.
same way, I have been doing this for so many years. So if you have read 500, people feel amazed when when I ask people. So you are one of the very few people who has said 500. People tell me 5, 10. 2 घंटे में 5 स्टॉक तो बहुत हो गया. So
Okay, so people ask me कि कैसे stock screen करना है and all, and I tell them कि daily बैठ के stocks देखो. That is the only way to screen
that's
stocks.
what I said.
No software is gonna help you.
Yeah, that's what I said. Same thing. See, softwares are there, they will help you. I'll tell you one simple example how softwares don't work beautifully. Now, let's say there is a system you are looking out for a crossover of a price beyond a particular moving average, right? Let's assume simple moving average of 18 or 20 or whatever the public use, right? So 20 EMA, if price crosses, you get a buy signal. Logically on the upside, you get a buy signal. Okay. Now, problem with this kind of setup is if the stock has already hit 20%, what will you do? You cannot do anything, right? You are seeing the chart at the end of the day. The price has hit maybe has gone beyond that moving average and during the day and it has crossed 20%. Now the signal will come to you in the evening and automation. It will say this stock has crossed this, moving average. But seriously, can you take a trade or invest in that? I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't like to
Absolutely
buy
no.
at such
Yeah.
a high level, right?
Right.
So this is what you need to do. You need to look at charts. You need to see the charts, and then if you see it manually through your eyes, and visually, you know, okay, this is the price beyond which I would like to buy, not the moving average crossover, and after that, so much higher I would buy. Right? Maybe I want to buy maybe 1 to 2% above the crossover, but I don't want to buy 15% above crossover.
Right. That would be overstretched. So
So
probably it
at
will
that
it
point,
will correct
like
from
I
there.
know lots of people when they say after I buy a stock, it goes down, and after I sell a stock, it goes up. So logically, because you have bought at the wrong level, that's why it is going down or up against you. It's not that the stock knows that आपने खरीदा तो ऊपर जाना है, आपने मतलब खरीदा है तो नीचे जाना है. Its price, stock doesn't know. Many people tell me हमारा stop loss hit होता है फिर price goes up. But seriously, you don't know where to put a stop loss. That's why it gets hit. So you need to learn actually, and you need to practice why my stop loss is getting hit. Maybe I'm keeping it too near, right? So I need to bring it a little lower, or I have to find a newer way to newer setup to understand when to buy. I'll tell one simple thing. Um, if you want to make money in markets, the simplest thing is to buy at the lowest risk or sell at the lowest risk. As a trader, you are going to short, so sell at the lowest risk. And as an investor, let's say if you want to buy at the lowest risk. Don't buy at the highest risk. Because what happens after a breakout, the risk is highest. After a breakdown, the risk is highest. Because after the breakdown happens, if you go and short it, probability is that the price is already moved too far away from the risk area, right? Where it was the lowest risk area. So the simplest thing to do is to understand the supports and resistances. If you understand that, you are halfway done.
Right. So Fidai sir, there is a saying that you can make income from trading, but the real wealth is only created by investing
Right.
in the long term, right? So how do you invest in the market? So I read that you invest and make portfolios and you manage them. So how do you do it?
No, I don't manage portfolios for other people.
Yeah,
I
your own
for my
portfolio.
family, only, my near
Yeah,
family, right? That is my.
yeah,
I have two kids, my wife and myself, so I do it for us only, all four of us.
yeah,
And maybe if some relative ask, maybe I'll guide them, but I don't
yeah.
manage.
Basically, your friends and family or
No,
personal
not
family.
your
So
friends also. Seriously, I don't do it. But what I would, because if you want to spoil relations with your friends, you should start managing funds for them.
absolutely
Okay, so you don't want to do that, right? Because you want your friends to be there for lifetime. So what I would
right.
say is what means, see, you asked me that I manage funds and how do I go about it, right? So basically, it all starts with technicals. I look at charts, and because of so much 3 years, 3 decades of experience with the market, so most of the company I would know. See, in case of Reliance, do you think you need to do fundamental analysis?
I don't think so.
What sort of fundamental analysis can somebody do and find something that is different and that could be life changing for somebody who does Reliance fundamental? Very rare, right? Means you are not, everybody is not qualified to do that. Maybe some
Yeah,
CA who is there in the industry for so much and he understands the industry, the petrochemical, and Reliance is a
it's
big enterprise, right? So you
yeah,
need
it's
to know
also
all
very
the.
widely covered. So there's no point even researching on it.
So that's what I'm saying. So frontline stocks, you don't do fundamental analysis, you do only technical analysis, right? In small caps, micro caps, you need to develop some conviction. To do that, develop that conviction, you need to know a little bit of, thoda about the ratios, thoda about the, go and see the websites, understand what they are doing. Based on that, do a little analysis, what you see, and then maybe start building your exposure if you like the what you read and what you see on the charts. So prices will confirm your whether the things are moving in the right direction, and fundamentals will give you conviction. If the fundamentals are turning around, fundamentals are like every quarter the results, the next quarter the result is good, after that the next result is good. So and the company is saying something and delivering it. So now you know that you have found a good kind of company, so you can keep on increasing your exposure to that company. So that's how I do my I would say buying into the stock or building a portfolio for myself. So I can give you one example where in 2017, when I started my mentoring program, we were looking at charts and I found some unusual, chart was looking so hot, but the volumes were pretty low, and the name was something unusual. The code was HNDFDS. Now, HNDFDS is something that I had in 30 years of my 27 years by that time. I had not heard about this company, first thing. Second thing is like the volumes are so low that I was I was almost going to give up, but I said let me see, let's do some analysis, right? So we started doing analysis. We found the company's website, we checked out various things, we downloaded the balance sheet and all that, and we saw everything. So a little bit whatever we understand, right, we don't go too deep into fundamental analysis also. It's all street smart analysis, right? So we did that, and felt that this company has a potential. Okay, the fundamentals were turning around, their quarterly results were coming out good, very nominal profits at that time. If I am not mistaken, it was just 25 lakhs. But that 25 lakhs was consistent for, and it was growing. The sales were improving compared to the previous few quarters and all that. So I said, something is cooking here, and the chart is suggesting something big, right? And it's going to give a breakout. So we bought it. Actually, the name was HNDFDS. I wanted to understand the name itself. The first thing in naam kya hai? Then I read about it, Hindustan Foods Limited. Now I said, why don't I remember this company? So when I went through the website, something interesting caught my eye. It was promoted when the company was started by Glaxo. Now that's a big name, right? And then Dempo Group of Sesa Goa, right? Sesa Goa is a very big name, and Dempo Group was a company that, or the group, which is one of the largest groups from in mining and metals, and they sold it off. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if these two huge business houses, one Glaxo and another Dempo, want to start something, because there has to be something good about it, right? So that gave me the first indication that there is something cooking there. Then the fundamentals, like I said, the sales were improving, the profits were growing, but very piddly, very small, right, compared to the whole thing. But I said there is something happening here, and the stock chart is suggesting. So I'm combining the technicals with fundamental, whatever little we could gather, and based on that, I inquired with few people who actually understood fundamentals, who were very smart people who were in markets even and doing much bigger things. So I inquired with them, and their response was, "Arey, bahut chota company, a very small company, avoid it. I will give you a better bet." So I said, let me at least take a small exposure, because I like the chart, I like the whatever I'm reading. So I took a very small exposure, very small. Within 3 months, the stock doubled from 250 to 500. Now that was crazy part. So I still kept on, researching. Then stock was coming down again. So by that time, I had built more conviction, and I kept on buying when it was falling, and it came back to almost 250. But my average price was almost 350 by then. But I was more comfortable. Like I was down 30% from my buying price, but my conviction was very strong at that point, because the company had come out with another good performance, and all the good things were being spoken about. Even one of the investors who had bought into the company was speaking about it in a forum. So now I had built more conviction, and that's how I added to that company. And you won't believe, आज की तारीख में उसका भाव अभी 2000 है, 2000. It had gone up to 2600, and I'm saying this is from 2017 to current date. It's just 4 years and few months maybe. and the stock has almost delivered 10x on my first initial price entry into the stock. Currently, it is trading at 8x of my initial entry.
That's great. You know.
So that's not just, this is one example. Uh,
So any stock where you lost money on this basis?
on this basis, you lose so many times, right? The performance doesn't match up, the company doesn't, and there are so many misses also. Like I remember I had done a very good analysis on GRM overseas, but couldn't buy because of the illiquidity and maybe some, I had my funds invested in some other stock. So I didn't invest at all, and I couldn't build that kind of conviction about that company's business also. It's a rice, this thing, exporting company.
Right. So
So
how do you exit stocks then? Any
how
exit criteria?
एग्जिट क्राइटेरिया, पहले ये तो समझ ले कि एग्जिट कितना खराब, मतलब खरा इसमें एंट्री नहीं थी और एग्जिट हो गया, and then it kept on running. Same happened with Sport King. Okay, I had taken a very nominal exposure and the stock delivered crazy returns, but I had bought very small. So now holding a small quantity and couldn't add because of the continuous circuits. So at some point I got tired. I said, let me, get out of this. And and stock was also showing a little, means tiredness. Actually, it was not going up. So I exited that. So I do this kind of mistakes, but that's how, you hit some, you miss some, but whatever you hit has to be good. So I believe in risk reward instead of this thing, success ratio. I believe in risk reward ratio. So the higher the reward for you, then you can take risk in that stock. So my exits in trading are very distinct based on pure technicals, but in fundamentals, the company has to do something bad. The
Right.
promoter has to
So
do something bad. Promoter has to, instead of talking about the growth of the business, they have to start talking about, ratios. When they start talking about ratios, when they start talking about prices of the company, that is where you become a bit wary that this promoter is looking at, growth of the price rather than growth of the business, and you are buying the company for the growth of business, not for the growth of price. The price, basically is the job of the market to give you. Okay, it is not your job to tell market कि क्या price पे मेरा stock चलना चाहिए.
right, right. So Fadai sir, how do you hedge your portfolio? Do you hedge your portfolio at all, or how do you
No, no,
protect the
no, no.
downside?
Basically, hedging the portfolio is something that you do when you are very very afraid of something, some big event. So at that point, maybe I buy some options. Okay, but it's like you are paying an insurance, so you have to accept that options will either go worthless or they will give you crazy big money, and they will cover up your losses on the portfolio, right? As simple as that. Otherwise, they will have
Right,
to die worthless, as simple as that. And even if they die worthless, you are going to make money on your portfolio. So seriously, it's a win-win game for you, but you have to know on the chart, and that the price or the index has come to a point where there is a probability of a major fall or something is not playing out well, or means the index is telling you something is uneasy. You become uneasy with the index and all that. So you take those kind of bets, but those are small costs that you have to pay to the market to make sure that you don't lose big on your stocks, and you don't sell those stocks because you had not hedged your position. And
right,
you need to hedge positions if you are on leverage. If you are not on leverage, why do you need to hedge? Okay, so
right, right,
seriously, like I don't have a leverage, but sometimes when you feel the markets are in good shape and everything is hunky dory, right? And the stocks are, everything is moving and everything is fine. All the systems are in good shape, and then maybe you can do a little risk by taking a little leverage. So let's say you have a portfolio of just an example, 100 rupees. So you leverage up to 20 rupees. So
right,
what is your exposure? 120 rupees. While 20 rupees is something that you have borrowed from the market, and 100 rupees is yours. So seriously, you are not going to kill yourself with that 20 rupees. Maybe you have that 20 rupees in your home also. So you are not taking undue risk. right? You
Right.
just
So, Fidai sir, what have been your largest drawdown till date on your trading and investment portfolio separately? Yeah.
see largest drawdowns basically could be, means because when you buy a stock based on fundamentals purely, the drawdowns could be 40-50%. When you get
On a
stuck with
portfolio level,
no, on the stock level, right?
right. So on a portfolio level, like
Portfolio level, it could be like, in this current market when markets fell, right? So from the peak to almost 1,000 points, right? What we saw, 1,200 points or whatever we saw, the current
right,
fall, right?
right.
That 10% fall, actually, when you see, it showed a little hit in the beginning, but by
Hmm.
the time market recovered right now, I would say
Hmm.
I'm back to above my position, right? So
Okay,
I'm
that's great.
as so basically, if you have bought right and if you have traded right, sometimes you need to trade a little, right? And I
Right,
to trade into stocks which I am already owning rather than to trade into a stock which is absolutely new. Like, if you get stuck in that stock, at least you want to own it. You don't want to get out of it, right?
right.
That's
So on
what
your trading portfolio, what's your biggest drawdown till date on a
that's
trading
what I said.
portfolio?
ट्रेडिंग पोर्टफोलियो जैसा कुछ नहीं होता, ट्रेडिंग पोजीशंस होती है. So
Okay,
single position would give you something like 30, 40, 50% sometimes, because you had a wrong this thing, like you took a bet and bad news occurred and there was no exit on
right, right.
that can
So
happen. So I
Fidai
am
sir,
very ruthless when I sell, but because
hmm,
I don't take too much of exposure on a particular stock, my
right,
position size would be so limited to that stock, any stock. So, so basically, even if it hits me 50%, I wouldn't say my portfolio would get hit by 5% also.
right, right. So Fidai sir, now let's take some questions from this
Yeah,
audience.
please.
Yeah. So yeah, Said, go ahead.
I'm
Shahid
sorry.
Shan, yeah, asking the
Yes, yes.
speakers. I've
Yeah.
added few speakers.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Irfan Sayed.
Yeah, yeah,
Am I audible?
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, hi, sir.
yeah. You are. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. My question is sometimes we discussed about the picking of stocks using software. So I agree. Okay, you said if the stock has run up 20%, so does such stocks cannot fall into any momentum trading or some kind of a momentum investing, wherein we were kind of trying to capture the momentum and just exit it? I know it's a high risk, high reward, but still, does this thing suits well? And another thing, which,
As you said, like if you want to take a good exposure, right?
right,
Let's say, because of per trade, let's say you are taking a risk of almost or trade of position of 2 lakh rupees.
right, right.
Now, in your case, if you are going to do momentum trading, I would suggest go with 50,000.
Okay,
That would be my suggestion. I am not saying you shouldn't do it.
okay.
What I am saying is, if you want to do it,
Less exposure.
take very nominal
Okay,
exposure.
okay. And how would I? And that is one thing. There are some stocks like Mirza International, Subex, or sometimes the ones which were already trading at a higher levels, but for some
Mm-hmm.
reasons they fell badly, and then they are trying to recover now. So,
Mm-hmm.
how do we understand these kind of stocks? Are there any different from the other stocks because they were in the downtrend or at the very lowest of their lifetime lows, but then something happens and they take a U-turn, make a lot of difference in their market cap, making money to the investors as well. And how do we pick them as well?
So, yeah, so basically, you cannot pick up a stock based on fundamental in this kind of situation where you said about Subex, let's say.
Yeah,
Subex was down almost 3 rupees, up to 3
correct,
rupees, right?
correct,
Then from there, it has risen to 70s almost, or somewhere in that range, right? And then it again collapsed from 70 to maybe 40s, right?
right.
So basically, what I would say is you need to see technicals, you need to see the charts. So we already discussed that about Irfan, that we see so many charts, as many as possible.
Okay,
So on charts, there would be some action happening, right, at the lower prices also. The
okay,
volumes would start picking up, the price would start, ticking up. So both things are giving you some kind of indication. Now, if you are going to take a bet on this kind of this thing company, I still would say go and do the fundamental analysis, a little fundamental. There would not be much to see on the balance sheet, right? Or
Yeah.
the annual report would not say much, but
I I
you
kind
should
of
see
look
those comments.
ROC, ROE, and
No, I would say
promoter
those
holding. Yeah,
also bad. At that point, at 3 rupees, everything was bad in
correct. It
Subex.
was a negative. It was a negative.
Yeah, and I think the equity capital was huge. But then, if I remember well, because I have been tracking Subex, I had also bought and made very good profits, and I exited. Maybe I may look at it again. But what I'm trying to tell you, I looked at Subex at around 600 rupees.
Okay.
And then I lost 50% in it because it went to 3 rupees. So I exited. Then again
Okay.
it came back, so I bought at 9 rupees. So you should be able to rectify your mistake, but build
Mhm.
conviction meanwhile. अगर आपने mistake किया ठीक है, but
Okay.
अगर 9 रुपए में if I would not have bought, then I would not have been able to sell at 60s. Right.
Okay.
So I made enough money for myself. But what I'm trying to tell you is, coming back to your question, listen to the commentary of the management, what they are trying to speak to you. Okay, if they are saying we are going to change and it's recast the whole books and maybe the business also, and we'll do better things and all that. So you try to understand. Best part about Subex was it was actually profitable company, even though it was in bad position. And if you look at Subex, actually the things were management had very good intentions to begin with, but they had done FCCB, fully convertible foreign currency, fully convertible something bonds kind of thing. So what happened is those they had taken at a very high price. Plus they had some, they had taken position, actually not position, they had taken over some company which went bad for them at the highest price, right? So when markets are at peak, so even managements do mistakes. So those mistakes, if they are ready to rectify, but the price will tell you a different story, and you can capture those kind of thing. But I would say like 7 rupees में मैंने कुछ लाखों शेयर नहीं लिया था. I had bought good quantity, exited, added, kept on adding it, and then exited the whole thing at around 60s. So what I'm trying to say is कि you should try to see the charts and then go and read about, or at least understand what the management is trying to. So it should be on your tracking, whatever information they share with the exchanges. Read whatever the information they are doing, this company made a presentation also. So a penny stock making a presentation gives you kind of an idea like why they are doing all those kind of things. So once you go into that, you would learn a lot, right? And then you will build conviction from there. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah, right. Yes, you have. So, Abhilash, go ahead.
Sir, could you plug?
I'm sorry, I could.
Yeah, Abhilash.
India Bulls real estate के ऊपर, like sir could provide any views.
Personally, I'm invested, to tell you the truth. I believe the stock has a potential. Fundamentals are there is not much change. But one thing that will change is the embassy group taking over the whole charge from 31st, after 31st, right? And the old promoter exiting, absolutely. Second thing, NCLT approvals coming in, court providing all the approvals and all that. So what I understand from, I have not done much fundamental analysis, but what I understand from others who have done fundamental analysis is they, this company will become the second or the top, real estate player in India, one of the largest. So it
Thanks,
will
sir.
be in
Thank
top three. So see, understand once a company is in top three, what understand basic things. If there is a fund that is going to invest in real estate, if there are mutual funds which are tracking real estate, they will have to take an exposure to this company. They cannot avoid, right? Because it will be number one, two, three in India. So you can't say if I'm investing in Indian real estate, I will not invest in Ivul Real. The name change will also happen. So there will be lots of positives that will take place. So probably this company can keep on rising from here because of two reasons. One will be the demand for the stock from the player, from the means institutions who don't have an exposure to it. So they will have to take an exposure, and maybe as it grows, the more it grows, the more means institutions will have to add to it, because it will then get added to other indices also and all that. So that is one thing. Fundamentals will turn around logically, because the uh, new promoter are known. Embassy Group is known to be one of the very smart, run by very smart person, and he has delivered a lot in a better
Right.
way.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
it's a positive chance that the company will become kind of a multi-bagger, but you have to take your bets, right? For me, it will become a multi-bagger now. But I don't know about if you are going to take entry at this level. I would say do it in a staggered way. Okay. So there will always be some kind of opportunities. Market throws up lots of opportunities. So have some money. Like अगर आप एक stock में पैसा डालते हो तो don't you don't have to go whole hog one time unless you are buying it at bottoms, and if you understand technicals. If you don't understand technicals, I would say wait out, keep some money aside, because there will always be some drawdowns in a stock. The stock reacts after some news, right? So don't buy ever on news. Always buy after the news gets cooled down, right? And
Thank
one
you.
more thing
Thank you.
that I would suggest is if the prices went up in anticipation, don't buy after the news. If the price has not risen with because of the news uh, before the news, that is where the the breakout can work beautifully. So there are two ways to look at news also. When you look at news, look at the price on the chart, how it has reacted to before the news itself. So if the stock has already moved up, then there is no sense in buying after the news. Then wait out for the stock to settle down a little lower. You must be seeing this. So always, you must have experience. You guys must have experience that when you buy on news, actually you don't make much money, right? Then it tests your patience. But if you understand this small thumb rule about when to invest, that is purely like you see the price action before the news, and that will give you a better indication.
Right. So, Fidai sir, let's move ahead to Shrikant now. We have a lot of, people who
Yeah,
wants to ask. So,
yeah,
yeah, Shrikant, go ahead.
Hi, Pirai sir. Very good evening and good to see you here. Although we connected in another group, Nikun's group. I
right.
want to ask you one question, sir.
Uh-huh.
What is when it comes to the F&O stock? Uh, I How do you screen them? Do you follow any specific patterns apart from the charts?
Well, I think we discussed Srikanth about this in the like what I do as a screener. So I
Ah,
look at charts logically, no doubt.
yes,
So
yes,
first thing is because I'm a like by heart or by even everything, I'm a I am a technical analyst.
yes.
So first thing I have to look at is the chart. Now let's say even the promoter, if he comes and tells me buy my company stock, I will do one thing is look at charts. So that is my first this thing screener or the filter.
Yeah.
If it is suggesting yes, there is something worth looking at. The price is available at low risk, then I will buy, or I will take a very small quantity and means wait out, and because I buy a small quantity, I have to watch it, right? So it becomes on my market watch. I can keep on seeing it, and then all the things that are happening, I can read about it. So once the price comes to my comfort level, then I can add to it. So that's how I, buy into stocks. So
I think, sorry, sir. My question was more into the F&O.
patterns, but then see, that's what I said. In charts, there are so many patterns, right? There are hundreds and hundreds of patterns. But I basically follow uh, simple trend line patterns. And whatever the price is making on the chart, like if you see I don't go with candlestick pattern, but I look at maybe head and shoulders, maybe triangle, maybe cup and handles, inverted head and shoulders, all those kind of patterns. And then I go with, try to buy near to the support area. So I use trend lines to find that and moving averages to combine that. And based on that, I try to buy nearer to the major support areas if I can. But if it's a
Right.
trading bet, then I don't need to buy at major support. Rather, I would even enter with small quantity and add more. If it drops or if it goes up, then add a little more. But then that quantity would be half of what I would have added.
Right, basically
If it's
pyramiding.
slightly,
So buy
pyramid.
at support and pyramid your
Yeah. So if it goes down
portion.
lower, buy double. If it goes up, then buy half.
Right. So yeah,
Hello.
Shan trades. Go ahead. Yeah,
Hello,
Shan, you
sir.
can now.
Hello, Sarvit.
Hi.
Very good evening.
Yeah. Good
Uh,
evening.
like I have a question. Like
Mhm.
if you buy a stock and it is going up, maybe you bought some 20% of the capital, and it
Mhm.
is going up. Let's say 20% from the buy price. So at what
Mhm.
price you will buy it again, sir? If you want to add again.
First thing, I will never buy stock 20% of my capital. Okay. It will always be I have a set limit for any stock. Okay. So it depends if it's a micro cap, it will be very nominal quantity of my portfolio. If it's front line, then I will buy maybe 5 to 10% depending on what I'm looking at. That would be the maximum exposure I will take on a stock, never 20%. So it's all about position size. And as you said, like if it goes up 20%, I don't mind adding at 20 or 40% also. Because if stock is performing, if I get an entry, sometimes you don't get an entry around 60% also. So if I get an entry, I will try to get into it because it's the train is going to your destination. So why not board it again, right? You already have some exposure to it. So add more. Like you are already riding the bus. Now take the family along with you, right? So that's how I put on a little kind of exposure to it. Maybe I will add 10-20% of what I had bought earlier, and then maybe if it drops a little, then I will add more. So that's what I do. But at what point, I don't have any specific point. Depends on price. I would prefer if the stock goes up 20-30%. First thing, it has to go 30% above my price so that I can add to it.
Right. So let's move to now Dhruv sir. Actually, I asked you till 9:15. It's already 9:30. So no.
या ठीक है ना 9:30 का 10 सवा 10 कर लेंगे और क्या.
Cool. So yeah,
But
Dhruv.
whatever we can take, we'll take, and whatever we cannot, we'll have to excuse, and people will have to,
DM, maybe they can DM you and you might, yeah.
no, I doubt we'll be able to take DMs because I don't think I will be able to answer all the DMs. So,
Right.
and most of them will be stock related queries. So, problem is when it's a stock related query, the things keep on changing, like with the time also and everything. So, what I would suggest is we take as many questions as we can,
Hmm.
and maybe we have plans of future session also, right?
Right.
So, no, please, we'll do it in future also, right?
Cool. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So yeah, Dhruv. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
thank you, Ashutosh. Actually, I have a question for you two both. Like,
Hmm.
how can we identify the sector rotation except charts and all? What kind of data I can refer to identify sector rotation?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again? How you can identify
Sector rotations.
sector rotation? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That is difficult. No, you would not be able to identify it beforehand. But unless, like I said, if you see as many charts as possible, like let's say if you look at Nifty, you would not understand more than 50 stocks, right? Those 50 stocks are listed in Nifty. So if you are
Yes,
looking at 8 to
definitely.
6 stocks, what happens is you understand which sector is looking good and which sector is looking not so good, right? Or bullish or bearish, right? Based on that, you can take a bet, which sector is now settling down. Maybe the patterns are showing bottoming out. There is an interest over there. The patterns are all stocks will of the same sector will react in a very same way most of the time. So it's all you need to see charts first, because there is no other way, unless you have some inside information, you have somebody working in mutual fund or FII, there is no other way other than looking at charts.
So, sir, what time frame do you use for like Nifty IT, Nifty Steel, and all, and Nifty Realty? So, what time frame would be the best to know that?
See, I start with daily
Okay.
whenever I look at the chart. If I like it on daily, I will switch on weekly. Or even if I don't like it on daily, let's say something is very bad on daily, then still I check on weekly and monthly. So I do that. And if I want to take a position, let's say in a stock, then even I would even look at intraday also. So I can, focus or drill down to the lowest, best possible price or support price, or, if the price has moved a little after I had seen it. So I don't want to get into at a very high price. So I'll wait for the stock to do intraday little dips. Every stock reacts in intraday also. So I try to get in that zone where my risk will be the lowest for that entry also. So that's what I do. So I am not, see, if you are good at seeing things, and if you are very अभी एक practice होता है और एक चीज पता होनी चाहिए. If you know how to see and what to see, it all becomes very easy for a single stock. I can when I say I can see all 2,000, 5,000 listed stocks in 2.5 hours or 2 hours, depending on अगर निफ्टी है तो I can do it in 1.5 hours. NSE stocks, sorry, all NSE stocks. If
Basically,
it's
Pidai
BSE,
sir,
then it takes 3 hours.
So basically,
Yes, what
Pidai
I'm
sir, they
trying
will
to
need
say
to,
is, अगर आपको पता हो कौन सा आप देख रहे हो, तो इट डजंट मेक एनी डिफरेंस डेली, वीकली, मंथली, क्योंकि आप देखोगे तो ऑटोमेटिक आपको एक आइडिया आ ही जाता है.
right, उनको actually देखना पड़ेगा. So people need to
या
develop this habit of watching
या
charts on a
वाचिंग
daily
एज
basis.
मेनी एज पॉसिबल.
Right, right. जब तक charts नहीं देखेंगे तब तक पता नहीं चलेगा. There is no magic formula
That's
behind
what
it.
I have been saying, and people who do that, like Ashutosh is seeing 400, 500 charts. Many of my students see all charts. So
Right.
it's all about practice. Till you don't practice, you cannot master it.
Right, it's kind of a sport, so you need to practice, you need to give in the hours daily.
It's all about sport also, and any sport, if you play without passion, it is worthless. So you need to develop the passion for the market, for the technical analysis also.
Right. So yeah, Gautam, go ahead.
सर गुड इवनिंग.
Good evening.
एक्चुअली मैं नया इन्वेस्टर हूँ. एक्चुअली ऐसा भी चल रहा है ये मार्केट में, ट्रेडिंग में या स्टॉक में जाना चाहता हूँ. थोड़ा मेंटर चाहिए, मतलब मुझे थोड़ा गाइड चाहिए कैसे करना है. पूरा पहले स्टार्टिंग, आप तो जीनियस सब लोग हैं, मगर फिर भी मैं पूरा नया हूँ. तो क्या करना है, कैसे सिस्टम, मैंने बेसिक क्या करना है, और अगर मुझे स्टॉक में जाना है तो बेसिक क्या क्या सीखना है, कहाँ से मिलेगा. यूट्यूब तो देख रहा हूँ, फिर भी मतलब आपके हिसाब से कौन सा वाला नजरिया इजी हो जाएगा जल्दी.
I'll tell you one simple thing. See, there are two ways to learn. One is to do it on your own, जो आप कर रहे हो.
जी सर.
It may take time, right? क्योंकि you may find something, you may not. It may work, it may not work.
Okay.
But if you find a mentor for you, if you find a trainer for you, if you find somebody, a good friend for you, who can teach you or guide you, तो प्रोसेस थोड़ा जल्दी हो जाएगा.
जी.
राइट. सो जैसे हम कोई भी चीज सीखना चाहते हैं तो या तो हमारे ओन से सीखे, या फिर जाके किसी और को उसका फीस दे के सीखे. वैसे सी मार्केट विल ऑल्सो टेक फीस, राइट.
जी.
तो आप मार्केट को फीस देना चाहते हो तो इट इज योर चॉइस, एंड लर्न ऑन योर ओन. इट इज एज सिंपल एज दैट. और यू स्पेंड मनी. जैसे हम स्कूल कॉलेज गए, या बच्चों को हमको अगर क्रिकेट भी सिखाना हो, तो क्रिकेट किसको नहीं आता इंडिया में, सबको आता है. बट अगर आपको प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे जाना हो तो क्रिकेट की कोचिंग में जाना पड़ेगा, राइट.
जी.
तो यू हैव टू दैट. आपको ढूंढना पड़ेगा आपको कहाँ कन्वीनियंट है, कौन आपको अच्छी तरह सिखा पाएगा. नाउ लेट्स से आपको अगर हिंदी ही आता है तो आपको कोच देखना पड़ेगा जो हिंदी में सिखाता है. अगर आपको इंग्लिश जमता है, देन यू शुड गो टू समबडी यू कैन टीच इन. ये मैं एक बेसिक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ, राइट. फिर
ओके.
अगर किसी से भी सीखना हो तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड चेक कर लो, 4 जन से पूछ लो. आपको लगता है लोग अच्छा व्यू दे रहे हैं, जैसे हम एक मूवी देखना चाहते हैं तो रिव्यू नहीं देखते,
जी सर जी
तो वैसे यहाँ कोर्स करना है, पैसा लगाना है थोड़ा बहुत, किसी को
जी
देना भी है तो चेक करो उसके बारे में।
राइट।
ओके
सो या हम लोग इस पे डिस्कस करेंगे एट द एंड अगेन। भास्कर, सुदर्शन, प्लीज प्लीज गो अहेड, एकदम क्विक एकदम।
Hello.
या
Yeah, hello, sir.
हेलो।
Yeah, sir, like how you diversify your portfolio and your suggestions on option writing?
I don't do writing, so seriously, it doesn't mean I don't know to write, but I prefer, buying the stocks options. I don't prefer selling the stock options, right? So first, second answer का question का answer दे दिया मैंने. Second, how do I diversify? So I don't buy more 30% into any sector or any stock. Stock exposure will not be more than 10%. And sector exposure will not be more than 30%, right? I hope that answers your question, Sudarshan.
Right. So Bhaskar, go ahead.
Hello,
You
sir.
can take. Yeah, hi.
So actually, I wanted to ask about the position pyramid in option selling.
I'm sorry, you are asking.
About option pyramiding while selling options
Okay.
positionally.
First thing I don't do, as I told you, I don't do selling only. Second thing is pyramiding is you will have to practice first. First, you learn the basics of option selling, get expert, become expert on that, and then start pyramiding. If you are doing very well, then start doing, at one point, work with some small exposure, then grow from there.
Right, I'll add into that. Pyramiding in option selling is extremely dangerous. Like study well, and maybe do some practice before you actually do it. It's hell lot of dangerous while
Yeah,
pyramiding in option
Shutosh.
selling.
जब तक प्रैक्टिस नहीं करोगे कुछ भी, see, if I tell you what to do, still you will have to do it, right?
Right,
So
right.
you are doing it right now, Bhaskar. So you have to practice and become expert at what you are doing. Only problem with me is I don't do option selling personally. I prefer option buying.
Right, right. Yeah, Aftab, go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. I got my answer, but I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, if I entry a stock, then how I can judge ये स्टॉक कितना जाएगा, मतलब डबल हो सकता है या ट्रिपल हो सकता है, बेस्ड ऑन फंडामेंटल और बेस्ड ऑन टेक्निकल?
See, technical, I would say best thing is don't try to judge. Trail the profitable stock. Let it go up as much it wants to go. Why do you think it will go to 2x?
Yeah,
So
but I said
fundamentally, right?
I've
So it
been
will
doing
go based
this.
on fundamentals. I'll tell you, it goes on fundamentals, right? But if it is going to 2x, then it can go to 10x also. So rather trail it than get out of it by just making 2x or 3x, right? But how to screen out is fundamentals along with technicals. So combine both. If you understand fundamentals, very good. Check out the fundamentals of the company, then look at the chart. And if charts are suggesting something happening, the price volume action is suggesting to you, the whole pattern is suggesting to you, something big is happening on the chart. And again, if you understand technicals, great. If you don't understand, I would say, train yourself into it.
Right. So Fidai sir, I've been doing these spaces for a while now, and I see a lot of newcomers or these people asking questions like 2x मतलब how to find targets, 2x होगा, 4x होगा, या multi bagger कैसे बनेगा, या targets कितना find out
Okay.
करना. Right. I see a lot of problem in this question. So no one knows how far a stock
See,
can
the
go.
question itself is like, I would say oxymoron in that sense कि
नहीं, it's like
you
कि आप
want
कितने दिन जिंदा रहोगे, आपका नहीं होता डेथ किस दिन होने वाला है. It's like asking that.
नहीं मतलब सी आई टेल यू, आप कितना पैसा लगाते हो, फिर उसके पास कितना कंफर्ट रहता है, स्टॉक गिरता है तो जैसे मैंने अब हमने स्पेसेस में जब हम व्हेन आई वाज स्पीकिंग अबाउट आई सेड यू नीड टू बिल्ड कन्विक्शन टू एक्चुअली बाय इनटू अ स्टॉक. Now I did not know Hindustan Food will go 10x from after I bought, right?
Right.
It went up actually, and it is still trading at 8x. So you have to hold, and it's like once you have bought, if you bought quality, think of that business as your own business. So
Right,
you
right,
would not sell your businesses, right, to somebody unless it is turning bad. And that
right,
would show on technicals. That will not show on fundamentals.
right. So, our last question will be from today. Natrajan. So, Natrajan, yeah, go ahead with your question. Yeah, Natrajan, can you hear me? I guess it's not audible. So,
Yeah.
Fedai sir, we'll end it here. Any closing remarks and something on your mentorship program?
Okay. Closing remarks is I would say, um, people who want to get into markets to make money in markets, give time, give yourself time, give the stock the time. See, every good thing doesn't happen overnight. Even if you like, see, if I want to have a family, I need to get married. I need to, after I get married, I need to, like, सब कुछ मुझे एक वक्त होता है. You have to give the time. Even if you want to eat mangoes and your own mangoes, you will have to grow the tree, right? You have to plant the seed. Same way, in markets, you have to look at what you are doing and what you want to achieve out of it. My question, rather, instead of means closing remarks, I would say, don't leave your jobs for market. You can do it simultaneously, unless you want to be a trader, full-time trader, because trading needs screen time. Investment doesn't need screen time. Investment gives big money. Trading gives you, daily labor kind of money. So if you, for that trading also, first you need to practice to become, master at it. So don't leave your jobs just to get into market straight away and say, okay, kal se I will make money. It doesn't work that way. So learn first, practice, uh, become smart at what you are doing, and then grow from there. So give yourself time. Once you become comfortable with the whole system, then start putting higher exposure, higher money into the market, so that you can grow from there, and you can then start of thinking of your leaving your job, right? So don't think of leaving jobs because markets are up today. Markets will go down also someday, right? They cannot keep on going up forever. Second thing is, my suggestion would be, avoid trading if you are not having the time, or if you are not in the good health or good mood. Most of the time people make mistakes because they don't have time, they are working and they do trading. I know so many people. I know somebody who has done my program long time back, but he had lost almost 1.5 crore rupees before he realized that his mistake was he was taking trades because while he was also in his office, and he was at very good level. So he was called in meetings and all that, so he couldn't concentrate on meeting, he couldn't concentrate on trade. So he was, and finally it was job which was paying him for all these losses also. So I advise him, first thing is to stop, cut down, cut down your trading only. So that's what I would suggest. So don't trade if you don't have time. Don't trade if you're not in mood or if you're not healthy. Okay, so that is one suggestion to all of you. Now, about my mentoring program, seriously, like I usually prefer people sending me a message on DM. I respond to them with my what the details of the program are, and I think if you would, Ashutosh, if you have details, I have already shared with you.
Right.
So, means if you want to raise some questions from there, rather I would be able to happily answer that. Then I don't like to promote my program. I want people to join my program by, if they like it. I don't want to, I don't like to market it. This is not the purpose of this whole thing. But
Right,
I
right,
would
right.
suggest, if they want to ask questions, they are welcome. And I also provide more mobile numbers so people can call me when they are doing DM. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, right? So
Absolutely, they need to contact and personally ask and
yeah,
understand the
communication.
scenario.
Again, like I said, build conviction. in the company, same build conviction in me before you want to join my program, right? So if you can build conviction in me, then join my program. Otherwise, you don't need to. And I take very limited number of people, 25 to 30 people. It's a 3-month program. So I'll give you a fair overview. Nothing big thing about it. Just a fair overview, like 3 months of program, 4 working days. So basically, we do it in night 9 to 12. Okay, between 9 to 12. So 3 hours of learning, 4 days a week. So that is almost like 12 hours of learning per week for 3 months, right? And it's a lifetime of association. So after the program gets over, you are still connected with me. We do peer learning, we do private webinars for our group only. So if I learn something, I make sure that that learning passes on to the older students also. And like, that's how I do it. Basically, it's more of like, you need to be passionate to get into this program. My filter is, I like to talk to people before they get into the program, because I want people who will be passionate, who are ready to put in that kind of time and effort. If they are not, then they cannot be part of that program, as simple as. And there is no magic stick that I give you, nor do I give balls in my program. What I do is, I want you to become independent. So you have to practice, you have to learn, you have to, make sure that you ask as many questions during the program. The more you ask, the more you learn. As simple as that. It's a very holistic. I teach technicals, but I don't teach A to Z of technicals. I teach fundamentals, but again, don't expect a CA kind of fundamental program. Then I also do risk and money management, programming over there. Then we do how to future proof your portfolio. Okay, so that we do in our mentoring program. So like, why you are buying a stock. Will it survive the technological onslaught? Will it be the company that the products or services that it gives are worth holding on, or will they be, what do you call, relevant over a period of time? So all those things we discuss, and it is more of very, very interactive. It is not like, just monologue kind of learning. Just like you heard me in the spaces, it's just that I was because the spaces is where we can't open the mic off for everybody, but in my mentoring program the mics are open for everybody.
Right. So no, Fidai sir, it was great listening to you, and get your insights on the markets and how you trade and how you filter everything. So it was great, listening to you, and it was very good learning for all of us, I guess. So at least it was very good for me, and I hope that it was great learning for all of our audience. Also, I have a lot of questions pending, so I hope we'll
Yeah,
do
you
this
can ask
session.
at least और 8 minute है पूछ लो.
No, this is I have kept for another day. These are long questions
Okay,
again.
means if some questions are there which you can ask, if you want to ask, if somebody wants to still, there's some burning question, let them ask. जो भी लकी है पूछ लो. 8 minute है, 8 minute is good enough. Whatever I can guide or whatever I can help out, I would be happy to do that.
Cool. So I'll take one or two questions more in that case. ठीक
Yeah,
है?
yeah,
I have a lot of questions pending, so मैं देखता हूँ मैं किसका लूँगा.
right.
Uh, I have added Mahesh. Mahesh, you can ask your question. And second, mm,
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, I missed your initial speaking. Actually, can you please tell me how to do intraday in F&O and how to select stocks for the intraday? You said about some EMA, right? I missed about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Basically, see, if you want to do FNO, first thing is to have that kind of pocket size. Now, I'm not answering you, I'm answering everybody. The thing is, problem is people have limited money and they want to do FNO just because you get a leverage, right? But then you have to understand the stop loss will also take up that much money. Now, as I told you, like 4 EMA is a kind of weekly support or the resistance for the stock. if the price crosses above 4 EMA, the 4 EMA is like, giving you a signal that price is in a bullish zone. Now you go to intraday charts and check if you know how to see intraday charts. Then you go on intraday charts and apply whatever you see over there and look at it from bullish angle. But it doesn't mean that whenever you want to buy something, it has always to be in a bullish angle. So look out for any resistances which are nearby that could act as your target. And if the support is very far away, then I would say wait for the stock to come down. Or if you are buying a momentum, then go into lower time frame. The lesser the time frame, like if you're looking at 1 hour, I would say look at 15 minutes. Okay, because that will give you near term, support and near term resist. The resistance, but that would be your target. But near term support is where you try to buy as much as possible.
Right. But
To short the
Vidai
time.
sir, I'll promote something. So
Mhm.
for anyone who is beginning into the markets or are doesn't have like at least 20 lakh of capital, please
Mhm.
don't venture into FNO or any kind of leverage or derivatives trading. Please
Even
stay
if I
into
tell
cash.
you, if you have 20 lakhs of capital, it can be wiped off easily if you don't have the knowledge.
Right,
So
right,
don't
absolutely.
venture without the knowledge. That's my simple suggestion.
At
Okay.
least one needs to have 3-4 years of experience at the very least in the markets.
नहीं मैं
Need to
एक्सपीरियंस
see
भी
at
नहीं
least
बोल रहा
दो
हूँ अगर
cycle
नॉलेज नहीं है तो एक्सपीरियंस क्या करोगे
ये बात ये सही
experience
है.
of losing is also an experience, right?
Right,
So
right,
I'll tell you, losing is an addiction. So avoid, people try to then enjoy the losing part also.
right.
Because it gives you kind of like, some kind of this thing कि एक सहारा मिल गया मैं लोगों को बोल सकता अरे यार मैं बहुत lose कर रहा हूँ, I'm unlucky. And they want to gain sympathy. Don't do that. You are in the market as a businessman, so try to come with the intention to make money, but you also understand that people lose money in gambling. So anything that you do without knowledge is gambling. With knowledge it is pure business.
Right. So crux is you should have that kind of knowledge to engage in this as a business activity.
Get smart or get be very good at one thing before you venture into, like say as I said, if you know one setup, if you like one setup, if you can master it, you don't need hundreds of setup.
Right, right, right. So we'll go
Hello.
with the last question. Mujib, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening. Thanks for the
Yeah,
opportunity, sir. Am I audible?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, you are.
Thank you so much, sir. My question is sector specific. That's
Mhm.
basically about the infra, and in that specifically about the sustainability theme. Okay, what is your take on it, sir? Because I see a government trying to promote and actually recently, there's been a lot happening on this particular theme right now about
So I'll tell you, India is on a path where we need to put lots of effort on infra growth, right? And if that has to happen, the companies and government simultaneously have to combine together. That is private and public partnership and grow, right? And lots of big companies are already there. If you wish to participate in infra growth, find like there are three companies which I believe have the least possible risk from any kind of economical issues in the, and they have been proven and they have been in the market for a very long time, and they are the largest of the businesses. One is L&T, second is Siemens, and third is ABB. Anything beyond that, any other company that you're looking at, the exposure should be on the lower side. But yes, I would say it's a huge theme, but you need to no, you need to invest, but what do is you don't put one at one go everything. Like Siemens and ABB both have broken out into long-term lifetime high charts. Same way, L&T has also broken out. So seriously, I would say all three stocks are in a very big bullish momentum. But because they are heavyweights, they don't move like small caps and micro caps. They don't go up 20-30% upper circuit in a day. So you will get lots of opportunities. Do the sipping, rather, I would say if you want to sip, no need to do sipping on monthly basis. Maybe you can do sipping on weekly basis just to get into the stock as soon as possible. So at least your average price will not be very high, and you will have a comfortable position in the stocks.
Right. So
But
basically, go with the winners or
exposure
go with
to
the sector
any
leaders.
sector should not be more than 30%.
Right, right, right.
I'm bullish on it. Absolutely, because India needs to grow on and make sure that the infrastructure actually, is we are. If you look at other countries, we are not in the anywhere near to them on the infrastructure side. So there is lots of scope when there is lack of infrastructure, then that means there is a scope to grow from there, right? So India provides a good opportunity.
Right. So now with this, Fidai sir will end our conversation. It's been 2 hours now. We started at 8
Yeah.
and it's 10 p.m. now. So it's been great listening to you. Thanks
Would
to all
like
our
I would love
audience.
to have feedback from all our audience if they can give us how they found it, and maybe in future we'll have another session, right? Very
Right,
soon.
right. Right, we'll encourage everyone to give us a feedback, maybe tweet, maybe DM, whatever you are comfortable. It's no pressure. It's completely
Yeah, yeah,
voluntary.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. So let's hope people have enjoyed it, and thank you. Good night, all of you.
Right. So thanks, Vidai sir, for giving us your time. It's been great listening to you. Also, thanks to our audience for listening to us and bearing us for more than 2 hours now. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good night,
So
guys. Bye. Take care.
yeah. Good night, everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Have a great weekend.